Morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you catch this one. Just want to do a little quick one again. I'm trying to keep them short, just to give you something to think about. But I believe we need to start defining our lives by how we want to live instead of what we do for a living. Ironically, the school system is preparing us to be identified by what we do for a living. I remember when I first started doing my public speaking, I would get invited to career days at high schools. Then I started getting invited to career days in middle schools. Then I started getting invited to career days at elementary school. I mean, what happened to letting children be children? Let them be children. I mean, of course, when you're in elementary school as a boy, you always tell everybody, if somebody asks you what you want to be when you grow up. Well, most every boy's dream is to be a policeman or a fireman. Those are cool jobs. As boys get older, then they start thinking about professional sports and things like that. But nobody is ever showing these children business owners. Because when every career day I've ever spoken at, um, for the most part, I was the only business owner there. Everybody else that was there doing career days, they worked for somebody else. And I'm not putting that down at all. I'm just saying we're not getting enough examples to show our children that you don't have to be defined by what you do for a living. It's like when you ask a person, what do you do? Which is an open question. The first thing out of their mouth is they tell you what they do on their job or what type of job they do. What you do is an open question. It could be, what do you do with your family? What do you like to do for recreation? What do you do for vacation? What do you do on the weekends? What do you do in the evenings? It could be anything. But we've got into this mindset that success is only measured by the title you have or the income you make. So you start defining your life by how you live. Now, if the thing is, if you don't pursue your dreams, you're going to spend your life working for somebody else who is pursuing theirs. Now, one of the things I was asked some years ago is, what is your real income? And we all find out when we get those checks, it's not our gross pay. And like I heard a financial planner say one time, he said, your gross pay means exactly that. Your pay is gross. It's not even your net pay. Add up all of your expenses for the month. That's your groceries, that's your utilities, that's your mortgage, that's your car note, that's your insurance, that's your daycare, and you maybe if you and your family go out and everything, add it all up, multiply it by 12, and then, well, I ain't gonna even say multiply by 12. Well, you can multiply by 12 and then put that next to your gross pay at the end of the year, subtract the expenses from your pay, and that is your real income, whatever is left over. Because everything else is a necessity. And so if you don't get sick about that, I don't know what to say about you. But I know that kind of burned me up when the guy said that. Now, it's not the abundance of money that controls most people's dreams. It's the lack of it. I mean, think about it. Where did you go on vacation last time? Is that really where you want to go, or you wanted to go somewhere else? Are you driving a car of your dreams, or are you driving a car that you could afford, and you really can't afford it if you have a note? Hey, I'm talking to myself too. Are you living in the house of your dreams? And you might be living in the house of your dreams, but is it paid off? Would you like to do more for needy families or charities or things like that that are close to your heart, but you really can't do what you want to do. No, I'm just asking questions. So when something is actually restricted, we tend to think about it a lot. I mean, think about somebody holding your head underwater. No, and they won't let you up. Now, at the moment they holding your head under the water, you forgetting everything else because the only thing that you want at that moment is some air. You want your head from underwater. And if we're not, I mean, I had a 10-speed bike that I used to ride to school for a little while, and then I would ride it most of the way to my aunt and uncle's house, and then I would walk the rest of the way to school. And then my aunt and uncle moved, so I ended up having to walk to school. Then I got my little hoopty when I was in 12th grade in high school, and it ran for a little while, when I got first year or so in college. And next thing you know, I'm on city bus. So if you all you have is a bicycle and you're not in life where you want to be, maybe you need to start catching a bus. And I caught the bus for a long time too. When I actually met my wife, I was actually on a bus. I mean, I didn't meet her on the bus, but that was my mode of transportation, the city bus. You could call me a B-boy because I had a bus pass. And I'll be honest with you, I had some pretty long days trying to go to college and school and work at the same time because I had to get up at 4:30 in the morning because I'm working and going to school at the same time when I was in college. And so I would get up at 4:30 and then I would get back home about 10 at night. And then I would have to spend a few hours studying. And so I normally got in bed like 12:30, 1 o'clock to get back up about 3 hours, 3.5 hours later to get up and do it all over again. And so that mode of transportation wasn't really helping me. So I started looking for ways, I started trying to get me a card. That wasn't working, but I eventually got me a car. If you don't think a car is what you need, well, I guess you need a helicopter. But the point I'm making is if our current financial vehicle is not taking us where we want to go, we might need a new vehicle.